Across the endless plains of the African savanna, no victory is ever certain. In the natural world, every encounter is a high-stakes gamble where instinct, experience, and a single misstep can determine survival. Each chase becomes a harsh trial of endurance and accuracy, where even the smallest error can turn a hunter into the hunted or grant prey an unexpected chance to escape. In this land, a brief moment of resistance can shatter the balance of power. A sudden turn, a desperate charge, or a split second of hesitation is enough to rewrite the outcome of a hunt that once seemed inevitable. The savanna shows no mercy for mistakes, and it recognizes no absolute dominance. Even the most feared predators must risk everything each time they pursue a meal. At the center of this unforgiving world unfolds one of nature's most intense pursuits, the hunt within the lion's domain. Here, silence becomes a warning. Tall grass conceals danger, and every shadow may signal an attack. Yet even the so-called king of the savanna is not immune to uncertainty. Hunting is an expression of strength, but also of vulnerability where triumph lasts only moments and survival must be earned again and again beneath Africa's relentless sun. Under the merciless African sun, the plains shimmer with heat. Scorching winds twist columns of dust into the air, blurring the horizon and choking the land. Here, life hangs on a delicate balance. A single lapse can mean the end, and even the smallest decision can draw the line between survival and death. Across the open grassland, a buffalo lowers its massive head to graze. Its towering frame and sharp horns form a natural shield, yet in the act of feeding, a weakness is exposed. Just meters away, hidden within the dry grass, a pair of golden eyes remains perfectly still. A pride of lions has been watching for hours, waiting for the precise moment. In In this open world, success is not decided by sudden strength, but by patience, timing, and flawless execution. There is no room for mistakes. Heat, relentless heat. Throughout the savanna, the lion sits atop the food chain. Raw power is matched with teamwork refined over countless generations. Together, these traits tip the balance in the endless struggle between hunter and prey. The grasslands are more than a home, they are a battleground where every movement can seal a fate. Every hunt begins in silence. The pride advances carefully, alert to the slightest shift from an antelope or buffalo. Once a vulnerable or isolated animal is identified, the strategy unfolds. Lionesses lead the approach, spreading out to cut off escape routes. As the trap closes, violence erupts. The prey fights back with frantic strength. That is when the males join in, using their weight and force to bring the animal down. Yet the role of the male lion extends beyond brute impact. He is not only the blade, but the spectacle. His dark mane becomes a banner of intimidation, drawing attention, spreading confusion, and breaking horned defenses through fear itself. He is a living distraction shaped by ancestors who learned that some battles are won with terror even before the first strike is made. Even with flawless coordination, success is never guaranteed. Only about 15 to 30% of hunts end in a kill. That is why the pride targets the old, the young, or the injured, choices that lower the risk and conserve precious energy. And when a hunt finally succeeds, the reward is anything but peaceful. The body of a zebra or buffalo quickly becomes a beacon across the savanna. Hyenas arrive, vultures circle overhead, and other scavengers gather, drawn by the scent of blood. This fierce competition plays a vital role in maintaining ecological balance. By keeping herbivore numbers in check, lions prevent buffalo and zebras from overgrazing the grasslands. This natural control allows vegetation to recover and the land to renew itself. In this way, the lion sets the rhythm of the plains. Every stalk through tall grass, every ambush, and every battle over a carcass leaves a lasting mark on the landscape. Under the harsh, sun-scorched skies of Africa, the lion is more than a predator. It is a keystone species holding together the delicate chain of life that defines the savanna. African buffalo move as a single force. They travel in massive herds and rarely break formation. Calves and weaker individuals remain at the core, shielded by an outer ring of powerful adults ready to confront any threat. This formation is driven by instinct, but also by knowledge passed down through generations of survival. More often than not, it is the females who set the course, guided by memory, ancient grazing grounds, and distant water sources mapped in their minds. Adult males take on the role of sentinels, standing guard at the edges. The herd structure is flexible enough to adapt, yet strong enough to endure the harshest conditions the savanna can offer. Buffalo also share close relationships with other species. Oxpeckers perch on their hides, feeding on ticks and parasites embedded in the skin. These birds do more than clean, they serve as early warning systems. Their sharp calls alert the herd to approaching danger. When a predator makes its move, the response is immediate. The herd tightens into a dense circle, horns facing outward. This living barricade is incredibly difficult to breach. Lions and hyenas succeed only if they manage to break the formation or isolate a single animal from the group. Through their daily movements, buffalo shape the ecosystem in countless ways. They regulate grass growth, support large predators, and sustain species that rely on their presence. In the vast plains of Africa, buffalo are more than survivors. They are pillars of balance in a land where life and death are inseparably linked. In the heart of the African grasslands, where survival is a daily battle, a female buffalo faces her ultimate test. With a final surge of strength, her calf enters the world. drawing its first breath under watchful eyes, some protective, others dangerous. There is no time to recover. From a distance, hyenas move closer in silence, their focus locked on the vulnerable newborn, sensing an easy chance. Exhausted from giving birth but driven by instinct, the mother positions herself between the hyenas and her calf. The predators advance cautiously, snapping and probing, testing her resolve, searching for a moment to pull the calf away. Her body shakes with fatigue, yet she refuses to yield. Each charge is met with a desperate counterattack fueled by the last of her strength. As her energy begins to fade, a powerful figure emerges through the dust. The father has arrived. He charges forward, hooves pounding the ground, horns lowered in defense of his family. The hyenas hesitate. Faced with the combined determination of both parents, their confidence dissolves into restraint. Together, mother and father stand shoulder to shoulder, forming an unbreakable barrier. Having escaped this immediate danger, the buffalo leads her calf across the open plains toward the safety of the herd. But in the wild, safety is never guaranteed. Ahead, two lions materialize without a sound, focused, coordinated, lethal. Moving as one, they begin to circle, their steps deliberate and precise. In a heartbeat, the calm shatters as the lioness launches the first attack. Mother and calf are pushed to the edge of survival. The buffalo twists and bucks in panic, struggling to break free as exhaustion takes its toll. The male lion joins the assault from behind, striking with claws and teeth. Driven by the instinct to protect her young, the mother refuses to collapse. With everything she has left, she fights to escape the tightening trap. The lion slips past the sweeping horns, circles behind, and strikes again. Drained of strength, the buffalo staggers beneath the predator's weight, her breathing ragged and uneven. Just as the struggle seems decided, another lion joins the assault, clamping onto her neck. With one final surge of defiance, she tries to resist. But the jaws of the Savanna's ruler close firmly, bringing her fight to an end. The mother's strength fades. Her body collapses under the lion's control. Until her final moment, her determination to protect her calf never wavered. In the realm of the Savanna's king, survival is unforgiving, and every second reflects the harsh, relentless beauty of Africa's plains. The dominant lion turns his attention to the calf. Its vulnerability is clear. instinct overwhelms hesitation. In a swift, decisive motion, he attacks. Claws and teeth end the calf's brief struggle in an instant. The lion claims the first bite. Powerful jaws tear into the buffalo's hide as the rest of the pride watches closely. One by one, they join the meal, easing, if only temporarily, the hunger that governs their lives. Not far away, the male buffalo stands alone. The loss of his mate and calf is etched into his stare, heavy with grief and rage. Yet he is not truly alone. The herd senses his distress and gathers around him, massive bodies united by loss and rising fury. Shared pain hardens into resolve. Suddenly, the buffalo charge. Their hooves thunder across the savanna as they surge toward the lions with overwhelming force. They encircle the bodies of the fallen mother and calf, their fury intensified by loss and the instinct for retaliation. Driven by grief, they pursue the lions, relentlessly advancing like an unstoppable tide. The lions retreat into the tall grass, weaving and dodging the oncoming rush. The former hunters are now forced onto the defensive. Still, the buffalo press forward, crashing through shrubs, lowering their heads and driving ahead with a determination that seems inexhaustible. Cornered, the lions reach a stretch of muddy ground. Their paws sink slightly as they struggle to escape. The buffalo close in dangerously near, but the lions respond with quick leaps and well-timed swipes, avoiding direct impact. Gradually, exhaustion begins to take its toll on the herd. The initial surge of power fades. The terrain favors the lions and the cohesion of the buffalo group starts to fracture. Anger gives way to fatigue. Experience signals retreat. One by one, the buffalo fall back, aware that the cycle of life and death cannot be overturned. The dominant lion stands his ground, watching the herd withdraw, a stark reminder of the fragile balance between predator and prey. A silent exchange passes through the pride. The hunt is not yet over. Their focus shifts to the leader of the buffalo. In a sudden burst of movement, a lion lunges forward, claws extended, driving them into the animal's flank. A fierce struggle erupts. The buffalo twists and lashes out with horns and hooves, fighting desperately to break free. The lions close in around their quarry, each taking a precise position. The outcome is no longer in doubt. Just as the pride prepares to claim the reward of a hard-fought hunt, a new threat emerges. Another group of lions, drawn by the scent of fresh blood, approaches with steady strides and unwavering stares. The air grows heavy with tension. The two prides assess one another, neither willing to retreat. Hunger and survival fuel the confrontation. Lions clash, grapple, and roar, every movement charged with the will to dominate the kill. Then something unexpected happens. Without a sound or signal, an unspoken agreement takes shape. A brief ceasefire. The rivals tolerate one another and share the feast. In this unforgiving land, even enemies are sometimes forced to coexist. Each lion sees in the other the same strength, the same endurance, the same relentless struggle to stay alive. Beneath the surface of the earth, far from the open gaze of the savanna and the relentless sun, a story shaped by struggle begins. We return to the very beginning. Inside a hidden den, spotted hyena cubs are born. Unlike many other predators, they do not enter the world blind or helpless. Their eyes are open, their teeth already formed. This early development is not an innocent advantage, it is a warning. From their first moments, they are prepared for conflict. Even among siblings, survival is fiercely contested. The cubs engage in silent battles, each one striving to assert dominance within an unseen order that governs the entire clan. Every movement, every shove helps define a hierarchy that will shape their future. Cubs born to high-ranking females inherit clear advantages. They feed first, receive greater protection, and are treated with deference. In contrast, the offspring of low-ranking females must fight for every drop of milk, for every moment close to their mother. Inequality here is undeniable and often fatal. In some litters, only a single cub survives. This extreme behavior, known as siblicide, is not driven by cruelty. It is a harsh mechanism of natural selection rooted in the biology of the mother herself. Hyena milk is among the richest in the animal kingdom. Thick, energy-dense, and designed to fuel rapid growth. But it is limited in supply. The struggle within the den ensures that only the strongest and most resilient gain access to this vital resource. For several weeks, the cubs remain underground. They grow in near darkness, building muscle, sharpening instincts, and strengthening both body and mind. Then between the second and third month, a decisive moment arrives. They emerge into the open world and learn that survival demands more than courage. It requires discipline, endurance, and constant adaptation. On the surface, the entire clan is waiting. What once looked like playful wrestling between siblings quickly turns into hunting practice. The adults watch in silence, serving as living examples. Every movement is closely observed. The young test themselves in short sprints, rehearse ambushes, and practice mock attacks. This phase is decisive. It separates those who will thrive from those who will struggle in the unforgiving reality of the Savanna. In the wild African plains where strength often seems to rule fate, the spotted hyena defies familiar rules. Here, power does not belong to the largest males, but to the females. They are natural leaders, relentless strategists. Hyena society is among the most complex of all carnivores, held together by a strict hierarchy that is firm, unforgiving, and deeply ingrained. Power is not challenged every day. It is inherited, maintained, and respected. At the top of this structure stands the alpha female, a matriarch who sets the rhythm of the clan's life. Her authority is rarely questioned. She determines who eats first, who leads the hunt, and who gains access to the best resources. This legacy is far more than symbolic. It shapes survival itself. Males, meanwhile, hold no permanent position. Even the strongest rank near the bottom of the hierarchy. When they reach maturity, they are driven from their birth clan and must seek acceptance elsewhere. They move carefully, display submission, and wait for opportunity. Those who are allowed to stay remain in modest roles, surviving only through the tolerance and approval of the females who truly rule this world. Despite this harshness, there is no chaos. Every member knows its place and balance is maintained with near military precision. Hyena society is severe yet remarkably efficient. At its core lies one of its greatest strengths: organization. Behind the piercing laughter that cuts through the night stands a body and mind shaped by relentless pressure to survive. The anatomy of the spotted hyena is no accident. It is the product of thousands of years of adaptation. Its build is compact, powerful, and unmistakable. The front legs are noticeably longer than the hind legs, giving the animal its distinctive sloped posture. This design allows explosive bursts of speed and exceptional stability, ideal traits for long pursuits across the uneven terrain of the savanna. The midday sun burns overhead. The lioness has won the hunt, but the battle is far from over. They do not emerge from the shadows, but in full daylight. They advance like a perfectly synchronized unit. At the front stands the clan's matriarch. She does not rush, she calculates, she observes. With a single glance, the formation shifts. The escape route is sealed, the rear is cut off, the trap is closing. The lioness has raw strength. The hyenas have numbers and ruthless tactics refined by experience. Jaws capable of delivering over 450 kilograms of pressure, strong enough to crush not only bone, but the will to keep fighting. In this moment, the balance of power shifts. Here, dominance is no longer about muscle alone. The strongest is not always the biggest, it is the one who organizes best. Not far away, the Tsesebe antelope. One of Africa's fastest runners moves steadily across the open plains. These animals are true ecological trailblazers. As they travel into new areas, they help stimulate the renewal of grasslands. During the dry season, a tsessebe may cover dozens of kilometers in a single day searching for the scarce water sources that keep life alive. The tsessebe is also known for its strong sense of curiosity. Instead of fleeing instantly, it may pause to scan its surroundings, a behavior as captivating as it is risky. Though its build can appear somewhat awkward, this antelope is capable of sustaining speeds close to 90 kilometers per hour over long distances. Instinct urges escape, but sometimes even that is not enough to outrun an extraordinary predator. Then the cheetah enters the scene, the fastest land animal on Earth yet, also among the most vulnerable. Its evolutionary journey began millions of years ago, shaped by a singular choice, extreme speed and precision, at the cost of brute strength. Females typically live alone, while males often form small coalitions, frequently with brothers. These alliances improve their hunting success and help them defend territory. Once the prey locks into its field of vision, the cheetah's spine coils like a spring under tension. In just 3 seconds, it explodes from stillness to nearly 95 kilometers per hour. Each stride releases pure energy. Its lungs expand to their limit, and a powerful heart drives oxygen-rich blood through the body to sustain the sprint. With a perfectly timed leap, the cheetah brings its target down in a moment of silent shock across the savanna. Even while gasping for breath, the cheetah must eat quickly. Lingering too long invites danger, as other predators may steal the hard-earned kill. The early years of a cheetah's life are filled with constant threats. Mothers give birth in carefully hidden shelters to avoid detection. The cubs are born incredibly fragile, making them easy targets for lions, hyenas, and even snakes. Cub mortality can be devastatingly high, reaching up to 90%. Only when the young are strong enough to keep pace with their mother and begin learning the skills of the hunt do their chances of survival improve. Despite standing at the top of the food chain in terms of speed, the cheetah's life is anything but easy. Its role in nature is crucial. By controlling prey populations, the cheetah helps maintain balance within the ecosystem. By targeting weaker or more vulnerable individuals, it supports the overall genetic health of herbivore species across the savanna. In this way, the cheetah is not just a symbol of speed, but a key guardian of ecological stability. High above the Miombo woodlands, a massive shadow glides in complete slants. It is the lappet-faced vulture, an imposing presence that seems to stand watch over the thin line between life and death. This species is the last living representative of an ancient lineage within its family, shaped by millions of years of evolution in some of the harshest environments on Earth. In the air, its movement is calm and almost invisible. On the ground, it commands instant respect. Its large, exceptionally powerful beak can tear through the toughest hides and sinews with ease. A small antelope can be stripped down to bare bones in less than 20 minutes. Faced with this dominant scavenger, even hyenas and jackals often step aside rather than challenge it. Its appearance is unmistakable. Dark feathers frame a bare head flushed with a deep pink hue. This featherless skin is no accident. It helps maintain cleanliness and allows the sun to act as a natural disinfectant after feeding on decaying remains. Unlike many other vultures, this species is typically solitary or lives in pairs. It forms strong monogamous bonds and builds its nests high in trees where both parents share the responsibility of raising their young. Each breeding season, the pair produces just a single egg, which is carefully incubated for roughly 55 days. The chick develops slowly, taking about 4 months to make its first flight and may require up to 6 years to reach full maturity. This slow life cycle makes every new generation especially valuable. Its diet is far more diverse than many people assume. While carrion remains its primary food source, this vulture is also capable of capturing small live prey and even raiding flamingo nests when the opportunity arises. Such dietary flexibility is vital, particularly during harsh dry seasons when food is scarce and competition is intense. Contrary to popular belief, vultures do not rely on their sense of smell. Instead, they possess extraordinary eyesight. From altitudes exceeding 1,000 meters, they can spot the faintest signs of death on the ground below. By rapidly consuming carcasses, they prevent the spread of dangerous bacteria and disease, playing a crucial role in maintaining the health and balance of African ecosystems. Spotted figures begin to emerge across the vastness of the plains. They are African wild dogs, tireless hunters of the Miombo woodlands. Each individual wears a unique pattern of black, brown, and white markings. No two are alike. Their society is exceptionally cohesive and led by a dominant alpha pair. Cooperation within the pack is so precise that it grants them extraordinary hunting success. As the sun sets, one of the savanna's most efficient predators sets into motion. Their strategy does not rely on ambush, but on endurance, coordination, and teamwork. Their large, rounded ears function like biological antennas, helping them dissipate heat and detect even the faintest sounds in their surroundings. During the chase, they encircle the prey and maintain constant pressure, gradually pushing it toward panic and exhaustion. Fleeing is a natural instinct, but prolonged pursuit is the wild dog's specialty. In the end, completely spent, the prey stumbles and falls before the pack. The feeding is swift. They must eat quickly before competitors such as hyenas or lions detect the scent. Adults carry portions of meat back to the den to feed the pups and any injured or weaker members of the group. The African wild dog plays a vital role in maintaining ecosystem balance. Its existence reveals the subtlety of nature, where every species, no matter how discreet or fierce, occupies an indispensable place. Amid the dry grass and cracked earth, the white rhinoceros moves forward with a heavy yet silent gait. Its name can be misleading. It does not refer to color, but comes from the African word wid, meaning wide, a reference to its broad mouth. Weighing close to 2,500 kilograms, it is the second largest land mammal on the planet, surpassed only by the elephant. Unlike the black rhinoceros, this species usually lives in small groups made up of females and their calves. Adult males, by contrast, establish their own territories which they defend through scent markings. The gestation period is long, around 16 months, and the calf remains with its mother for the first 2 or 3 years of life. This very slow reproductive rhythm makes the population especially vulnerable to any threat. Although its behavior is generally calm, the white rhinoceros can react with surprising speed. If it senses danger, it is capable of reaching speeds of nearly 50 kilometers per hour to protect its calf. For this reason, the loss of even a single individual has serious consequences for the entire population. By the end of 2024, it was estimated that around 17,400 southern white rhinoceroses remained in the wild. This figure represents an extraordinary recovery compared to the late 19th century, when the species was on the brink of extinction, with fewer than 100 individuals left alive. However, poaching for their horns remains a constant threat that continues to put their future at risk. On the African savanna, every battle ends without promises of eternal victory. In the natural world, no power is absolute and no triumph lasts forever. Each hunt pushes instinct to its limits and punishes the smallest mistake. One miscalculated step, a second of hesitation, or a delayed reaction can completely change the fate of both hunters and prey. Here, a single moment of resistance can shake the established order. Those who seem destined to fall sometimes find the strength to defy the inevitable. The Savanna reminds us that survival does not always belong to the strongest, but to those who manage to adapt, endure, and seize the right moment. In this unforgiving arena, life is sustained by decisions made in fractions of a second. If these stories of struggle, uncertainty, and survival move you, subscribe to Beast Call Nature, give the video a like, and join us on more journeys into the heart of the wild, where every story is written under the oldest law of all: to survive. The Serengeti is not just an endless plain, it is the stage for one of the greatest survival challenges on Earth. Every year, millions of animals set out on the Great Migration, driven by hunger, thirst, and an ancient instinct that cannot be resisted. The ground trembles beneath countless hooves while the air fills with tension and unseen warnings. Here, survival offers no second chances. In the tall grass, watchful eyes track every movement. In the rivers, death waits silently beneath murky waters. A single moment of hesitation can mean the end. The migration is not a journey, it is a relentless trial where only the fastest, the strongest, and the most alert manage to move forward. Each sunrise brings new chases, and each sunset leaves behind exhausted bodies and lives cut short. In the Serengeti, nature observes without mercy or intervention. There are no heroes and no villains, only animals pushed to their limits by an unforgiving rule: move on or disappear. And as the herds press forward, one question lingers in the air. Who will be the next to fall, and who will survive to the end? February arrives and the Serengeti pulses at the height of the green season. Some animals move driven by hunger while others hold back in tense silence, preparing for journeys written by instinct and fate. A queen's crown is not forged from gold, it is shaped by sacrifice and scars. After giving birth, a lioness's body becomes an exhausted refuge. Yet the cry of her cub is a sacred summons. Still weak, she must endure relentless hunger to produce milk, the sole lifeline for her young. Worn down and injured, the noble queen survives day after day on scraps and carrion, turning leftovers into just enough strength to go on. When the queens can no longer hunt, the king is forced to step down from his throne of pride. The lion's fiery mane is a symbol of power, but also a dangerous liability. Its size and color betray him during an ambush, and the heat quickly drains his strength in a chase. For this reason, males rarely take part in endurance hunts. But when cubs hover on the edge of survival, everything changes. The males become living weapons. A young warthog is chosen the most accessible prey, one that demands minimal energy. In the dense brush, dominant males must show raw force. A coordinated kill unfolds a world without mercy, where the instinct of domination overrides the maternal desperation of prey. Elsewhere, hidden within tall, rain-soaked vegetation, life begins quietly. Raindrops cling to leaves as a zebra mother licks her newborn, removing flies and imprinting her scent into the foal's memory. On the Savanna, slowness is a death sentence. Zebra foals are born athletes able to stand within 10 to 20 minutes of birth. Biologists call them precocial, born with well-developed limbs ready to flee from danger almost immediately. They run on instinct, fueled by rich milk racing to keep pace with the herd. But danger does not always come from predators alone. Sometimes it wears the same stripes. In battles for dominance, the victor can become a tyrant. Infanticide is a brutal evolutionary strategy. No male wishes to raise the offspring of a defeated rival. Instead, he seeks to force the female back into estrus to pass on his own genes. Faced with such ruthless instinct, the zebra mother must silence her fear. In a land where life is paid for with blood, maternal devotion stands as the final barrier against selfish inheritance. As it is written, love never fails. For wildebeest, the race begins even faster. While a zebra foal may have up to an hour to stand, a wildebeest calf has only minutes. During the Great Migration, more than 500,000 calves are born. Within a few short weeks, an explosion of life that draws predators from every direction. Minerals from the ash-rich grass strengthen the mother's milk-building bones for the newborns. But this nourishment also marks the start of a merciless trial. A wildebeest calf must stand within 3 to 7 minutes and begin running within 15 to 20. Only after moving can it nurse. Just 1 in 10 will reach adulthood. From the very first breath, every second matters, and survival demands speed above all else. April arrives and the rainy season slowly begins to fade. The grasslands start to thin, signaling a critical turning point. The migrating herds enter their final phase of preparation. Groups that were once scattered across the plains gradually merge, forming a single massive column poised for a long journey filled with uncertainty and trials. Zebras usually set out 2 to 3 weeks before the wildebeest. Their faster digestive system allows them to consume tougher, drier grass, and without intending to, they become the front line of the migration. Wildebeest follow behind, searching for younger, protein-rich grass better suited to their complex digestion. With sharp eyesight and keen hearing, zebras act as early warning sentinels, detecting danger and indirectly protecting those that move in their wake. By now, zebra foals are strong enough to match the pace of the herd, unlike young wildebeest calves that still struggle to keep up. The lioness, recovered from the physical toll of motherhood, turns her focus toward the front ranks of the march. Hunting zebras requires a different level of coordination than hunting wildebeest. A zebra does not surrender easily. A single rear kick can generate nearly 15,000 newtons of force, enough to shatter the face of any would-be ruler. One moment of miscalculation can turn a hunter into prey. This is why lions rely on cooperation. Without the strength of the group, no cub would survive to carry on the lineage. Here, the line between triumph and disaster is measured in a single blow. In the realm of shadows, silence is absolute law. The leopard moves like a ghost, a solitary predator whose power lies in patience and perfect camouflage. For him, zebras are tempting targets, predictable paths near water, and powerful bodies rich in reward. Yet he avoids fully grown adults. Instead, his focus narrows to the most vulnerable member of the herd, the foal. Before the migration intensifies, zebra mothers guide their young through shallow water crossings, preparing them for the dangers ahead. On this day, maternal instinct confronts predatory hunger. The leopard avoids prolonged fights. His survival depends on a swift, flawless strike from the darkness. But this time he fails. The courage of the zebra mother breaks the ambush and forces the hunter to retreat. Still, this is only the beginning. The journey has just begun, and the savannah has many tests yet to come. Unlike the striped tide of zebras, the world of the wildebeest briefly comes to a standstill during the mating season. When a calf reaches around 2 months of age, the female returns to estrus, igniting intense rivalry among adult males. From an evolutionary perspective, this is the final gamble. With migration looming, the window to reproduce is closing fast. Males bellow loudly, strike the ground with their hooves, and flick their tails in bold displays of dominance. Every movement is a public performance meant to impress. Here, patience outweighs speed. While the males posture and clash, the females remain watchful, lifting their senses toward the sky. They detect the scent of rain drifting in from the northwest. The first distant showers end the brief season of courtship and trigger a journey from which there is no turning back. Once the signal arrives, the wildebeest have no choice but to move. They can sprint at speeds approaching 80 kilometers per hour and typically travel between 8 and 15 kilometers a day. Zebras capable of running up to 65 kilometers per hour slow their pace to stay ahead as scouts advancing carefully with frequent pauses and covering roughly 5 to 10 kilometers daily. After these two vast armies pass through and the grass is cropped down to its roots, the final participants appear, the gazelles. Gazelles wait patiently for the savanna's gardeners to do their work. Shortened grass reveals tender, protein-rich shoots and, just as importantly, clear sight lines. With the land opened up, danger can be spotted from afar. They move in groups of 10 to 50, light and fast like arrows, drawn tight on a bowstring. Yet among rocks and shadows, a predator is already watching. All it takes is a single moment of disorder among these masters of speed. In the dust clouds of the Serengeti, an evolutionary paradox is revealed. A gazelle can approach 100 kilometers per hour, nearly twice the top speed of a lion. But in the game of survival, raw speed means little against patience, positioning, and surprise. In low grass as cover, the predator closes the gap and strikes with explosive force. Even with sharp turns and powerful leaps, the gazelle can fall to brute strength in a perfectly timed ambush. After hundreds of kilometers beneath the burning sun, the three great travelers of the migration face their final ordeal, the Mara River. Here, danger waits beneath opaque water. When a wildebeest mother plunges in, she opens a path written in risk for the next generation. She challenges the current and fate itself, offering her calf to the laws of nature. Below the surface, Nile crocodiles wait for the smallest mistake. If the calf reaches the far bank, life asserts itself through courage. In the race to exist, not all make it to the other side. Zebras swim with confidence, shielded by thick skin and kicks powerful enough to break jaws. Even so, the oldest crocodiles wait for confusion. Zebras and wildebeest know the river well. Gazelles do not. They fail to sense the threat below. When the lead animal enters the water, instinct pulls the rest into a deadly trap. Within minutes, more than half of a group can vanish. Speed does not always save you, but hesitation is an open invitation to the crocodile. This is the rhythm of the Savanna. Those who continue forward do so under relentless pressure. Of the 1.3 million wildebeest that leave the Serengeti, only a fraction complete the journey. Hundreds of thousands fall to exhaustion, illness, or predators. And the smallest travelers, like the gazelles, pay a heavy price to keep the continent in balance. When hooves finally touch the far shore, the herd believes the green hell is behind them, unaware that the struggle is far from over. But in the Masai Mara, salvation proves to be a cruel mirage. Lionesses turn the crossing points into true feasting grounds, exploiting the extreme exhaustion of the prey. Zebras advance tightly packed, pressed against one another like a living shield, blocking access to the strongest individuals, still heavy with muscle and speed. Nature, however, grants no mercy to those who fall behind or carry wounds. When the line between life and death is drawn in pain, the victor's crown is stained with the blood of the stragglers, as written in Matthew 24:13, but the one who perseveres to the end will be saved. The goal of this journey is not measured in kilometers, but in the silent faith that burns through countless trials. The Mara reaches its most intense chapter when the massive wave pouring in from the Serengeti spreads across its plains. It is also the moment when the queens of speed bear the full weight of motherhood. Raising cubs in the middle of the migration is an unforgiving equation dictated by nature. Mothers must secure food for the next generation. To reach speeds of up to 112 kilometers per hour, the cheetah sacrifices defense. Her body becomes a purely aerodynamic machine, an oversized heart, powerful lungs, and a spine flexible as a spring. But that speed can only be sustained for less than 30 seconds. Oxygen runs out and the body overheats. During the migration, every burst of acceleration is both a hunt and a shield for cubs hidden in the grass. And just after victory comes the most dangerous moment of all. Exhaustion opens a crack through which death can steal everything. Beneath the eyes, a black stripe acts as a natural filter, reducing glare and allowing the cheetah to lock onto its prey under the harsh daylight. Every feature of her body serves a single-purpose pursuit. But before the explosion of power, everything begins with waiting. The hell of speed is unleashed when this land torpedo reaches 100 kilometers per hour in mere seconds, faster than many sports cars. If contact is not made within roughly 300 meters, the strength fades. The hunt ends when the claws take hold and the bite closes the trachea, plunging the prey into a final sleep. After triumph comes the fatal gap. The cheetah family must feed quickly before other predators arrive to steal the kill. In the world of speed, the distance between victory and total loss is as fragile as a breath. While the solitary female bears the crown of motherhood, elsewhere on the Savanna, alliances of males establish their rule through the power of teamwork. This time the target is a wildebeest, a mass of muscle 3 times heavier than the hunter. Alone, a cheetah would avoid such a risk. A single kick or mistake would be enough to seal its fate. But in a group, the males know how to advance against the wind, hide among bushes, and erase their scent and breath. When the moment of attack arrives, even then the alliance feeds quickly on the most valuable parts and withdraws, returning the rest of the body to the Savanna. The cheetah does not use her slender body to fight, only to secure survival. Meanwhile, the first cubs of the litter begin to grow and hunting lessons commence. The mother, patient and resolute, chooses the most demanding challenge to teach them the zebra. In this race, boldness sometimes drives the body beyond its own limits. The zebra is far stronger than the cheetah, even though it reaches only about half her speed. A single kick from its hind legs is enough to turn glory into a slow, devastating agony. The cheetah's skull, built from thin, lightweight bones, exists solely for running. An injury of that kind is an irreversible sentence. Like Abraham, who once dared to offer Isaac's sacrifice for the future generation, is a sacred principle etched into every footprint of the herd. The Savanna's unrest would be incomplete without the presence of the spotted hyena, the true force of the night. When the Great Migration fills the plains with life, these predators do not rely on leftovers. In many regions, the vast majority of their diet comes from active hunting. An unusually large heart fuels their remarkable endurance, allowing them to pursue prey over long distances until exhaustion decides the outcome. Ruled by a rigid matriarchal hierarchy, hyena clans use the movement of the herds to strengthen their control. Amid constant motion, they function as nature's final arbiters, maintaining balance with a persistence that is both efficient and unsettling. Beneath the blazing skies of October, young wildebeest begin to show the strength gained from weeks of travel. Yet the trials are far from over. The nocturnal hunters return, testing the limits of the herd once more. This time, instinct is misjudged. A wildebeest mother stands her ground, turning fear into decisive action to shield her calf. In the shallow waters, power shifts unexpectedly. The encounter becomes a lesson written in force and resolve. Even the most dominant predators can be challenged when maternal instinct takes command. Across a landscape of red dust and restless rivers, size alone can become a disadvantage when confronting a defender with nothing left to lose. The spotted hyena is relentless but also adaptive. Learning from failed attempts, the leading females summon their clan with sharp calls that echo through the night. Strategy replaces haste. Instead of confronting strength, they redirect their focus toward vulnerability. Their attention settles on an aging zebra slower than the rest, struggling to keep pace with the group. When the circle tightens, the outcome is swift. Rather than a single decisive strike, hyenas rely on coordination, attacking from multiple angles to neutralize movement and resistance. It is an efficient, calculated method shaped by survival rather than spectacle. They feed quickly, maximizing the opportunity before competitors arrive. On the open plains, hesitation can mean loss, and caution is as vital as strength. Far to the north, beyond these dramatic scenes, lies Etosha National Park in Namibia, roughly 500 kilometers from Windhoek. Spanning about 22,270 square kilometers, it stands among Africa's largest protected landscapes. This vast sanctuary supports extraordinary biodiversity with more than 100 mammal species, hundreds of bird species, and a wide array of reptiles and amphibians. Etosha remains a living stronghold of sub-Saharan wildlife, where the rhythms of survival continue to shape life on a grand scale. All of these animals are finely tuned to survive a semi-arid climate shaped by scarcity and seasonal water. From May to October, the dry season tightens its grip on Etosha. The vast Etosha Pan loses its shallow waters and transforms into an endless expanse of cracked white salt glowing beneath the relentless sun. Year after year, the same test of endurance unfolds, governed by rules that nature never negotiates. With no alternatives left, herbivores are forced to gather around the few remaining water sources. In doing so, they step into a moment of unavoidable vulnerability, offering predators an opportunity the savanna never fails to exploit. Massive in build, standing up to 1.5 meters tall and weighing close to 100 kilograms, the black rhinoceros is anything but an easy target. It carries two horns that grow continuously throughout its life. Essential tools for defense and for dominance, battles with rivals during moments of tension. Despite its name, the black rhino's skin is not black, but gray, often stained brown after wallowing in mud. Its diet consists mainly of shrubs made possible by a prehensile upper lip, flexible and precise, like a finger, allowing it to select the most nutritious leaves. Much of its water intake comes directly from vegetation, enabling it to survive several days without drinking from open water. Across the parched plains of Ocauquejo, the ground trembles beneath the steady march of blue wildebeest. Standing around 125 centimeters tall and weighing roughly 200 kilograms, these antelopes possess powerful muscular bodies. Their coats appear silver gray, reflecting bluish tones in the sunlight, accentuated by a dark mane and a thick beard along the jaw. Despite their heavy appearance, they are far from slow. In moments of danger, they can sprint at speeds approaching 80 kilometers per hour, a critical advantage in a landscape where predators are always nearby. Blue wildebeest live in herds that range from a few dozen individuals to vast assemblies numbering in the thousands. This strong social structure defines the ecological character of Ocauquejo. As specialized grazers, wildebeest focus on short grasses that regenerate quickly after rainfall. Their digestive systems are adapted to process tough, low-nutrient forage, giving them a clear advantage during the long, dry season, when vegetation becomes scarce and less nutritious. During these harsh months, artificial water holes become true lifelines. Wildebeest visit them daily, usually at dawn or dusk, to avoid extreme heat. When temperatures climb beyond 45 degrees Celsius, the air grows heavy and still, and small groups approach the water, cautiously spread out and fully alert. Watchful eyes, raised ears, subtle tail flicks, and low grunts form a silent language that holds the herd together in a state of controlled tension. Their sheer numbers and constant movement in search of fresh grazing prevent plants from overgrowing or aging. Continuous grazing encourages new growth, allowing the land to renew itself after each rainy season. As a result, countless smaller species, from insects to birds, benefit from this simple yet powerful process. They thrive within a more dynamic and resilient ecosystem that wildebeest help maintain. In Etosha, migratory behavior still exists, though increasingly constrained by shrinking space. As herds become confined to smaller areas, a gradual decline in genetic diversity begins to emerge, revealing another quiet challenge in this fragile balance of survival. The decline in genetic diversity poses a serious challenge for the future of the species, limiting its ability to adapt to environmental changes such as prolonged droughts and an increasingly unstable climate. Reproduction remains closely tied to seasonal cycles. Mating usually occurs after the rains, when fresh grass briefly blankets the land, offering the next generation a stronger chance of survival. Moving alongside the wildebeest herds, the plains zebra is a constant presence on the landscape. Its bold, black and white stripes are unmistakable, and no two individuals share the same pattern. Each is as unique as a fingerprint. The Serengeti draws its story to a close in an unsettling silence, where no victory lasts forever and no defeat is final. After every breathless chase and every river crossing charged with danger during the Great Migration, life presses on, paid for with sweat, blood, and the bodies left behind. Here, survival is not a right. It is a reward claimed only by those fast enough, strong enough, and resilient enough to adapt to nature's relentless demands. The struggles that unfold across the Serengeti Plains are far more than simple hunts. They are an ancient heartbeat that has sustained this ecosystem for millions of years. Every step of the migration nourishes the soil, every confrontation preserves natural balance, and every loss serves a purpose within an unforgiving cycle. When one life ends, countless others are able to continue forward. This is the harsh, impartial law of the wild. Today, that delicate balance faces growing threats. Climate change, habitat loss, and human pressure disrupt age-old migration routes, forcing animals to fight harder than ever to survive. Protecting the Serengeti is not only about safeguarding wildlife, it is about preserving a natural heritage shared by all humanity, a place where life and death continue to write their story each and every day. If this journey through the Serengeti has allowed you to feel the raw beauty and true value of the wild, we invite you to be part of that mission. Like the video and subscribe to Beast Call Nature to keep exploring together the most powerful, authentic, and unforgettable stories of survival on our planet. Across the vast African savanna, every breath and every step can tip the balance between life and death. This is a land where survival is earned through constant exposure to danger, where threats remain close even during moments that seem peaceful. Here, strength is not defined by appearance or raw aggression, but by the ability to endure when all forces push toward collapse. Within this unforgiving landscape, few presences command as much respect as the alliance of the Cape buffalo. Their power does not lie in speed or individual cunning, but in unity, resilience, and unwavering resolve. Together they form one of the most formidable forces on the African plains, a living barrier standing against hunger predators and the relentless passage of time. Every movement of the herd is a statement of survival, a collective answer to a world that offers no second chances. In this way, the savanna becomes an endless arena of struggle where life continues through endurance, cooperation, and the refusal to yield. In Africa, survival belongs to those who can stand firm. The soft light of dawn slowly spreads across the open plains, awakening a landscape that has followed the same rhythm for countless generations. Nothing unfolds in haste or chaos, only the whisper of wind through dry grasses and the steady breathing of animals preparing to face another day. In this land, true power is not found in appearance, but in endurance. In the distance, massive shapes begin to move across the horizon. These are Cape buffalo, formidable animals known for their unpredictable temperament and unbreakable social bonds. At the front walks a fully grown bull. His broad, curved horns merge at the forehead, forming a natural shield that few predators could ever breach. He leads what is often called a strong alliance, a coalition of the most powerful males bound together by a single purpose: survival. African buffalo are far from easy targets. Many weigh over 700 kilograms, and their thick hides and dense muscle allow them to withstand attacks from even the most feared hunters of the savanna. Yet their greatest defense is not individual strength, but the unity of the herd. They move as one, tightly grouped and constantly alert. Ears flick in every direction, eyes scan the tall grass without pause. If one slows, the others adjust. When danger appears, they do not flee, they regroup, stand firm, and confront the threat together. As the sun climbs higher and heat begins to blanket the savanna, a quiet danger takes shape. Within the golden tones of the grass, subtle movements glide almost unseen. A group of lionesses fans out, approaching from multiple angles. They are strategic, patient, and fully aware of the risk ahead. Buffalo are not ideal prey, they are dangerous opponents. But when hunger grows strong, every choice carries its own peril. The strong alliance presses forward, their heavy hooves striking the cracked earth in a steady rhythm. Unaware to them, only meters away, several amber eyes track every movement with unwavering focus. One buffalo on the outer edge of the group begins to lag behind. He is not injured, but his breathing grows labored. That alone is enough. The attack never fully unfolds. The buffalo collapses from exhaustion, and the lionesses halt, stepping back with measured caution. They have achieved their goal. The confrontation is over. On the African savanna, there are no permanent victors, only animals that manage to endure one more day. Today, the strong alliance pays a price, losing one of its own. It is the unavoidable cost of the endless struggle between predators and the power of unity. The wind rises dry and relentless, sweeping fine dust across the fractured ground. The grass lies short and brittle as the dry season refuses to loosen its grip. Within the strong alliance, tension thickens. The bulls begin to study one another, standing still, locked in Greenland evaluation. The air fills with the sharp scent of hormones, an unmistakable signal that a clash is imminent. Two of the largest buffaloes step forward until they stand face to face. There are no warning calls, no dramatic displays. Cape buffalo do not waste energy on empty threats. When conflict comes, it is direct, deliberate, and decisive. In a sudden flash, everything unfolds at once. Two bodies weighing hundreds of kilograms crash together with explosive force. The collision sends a tremor through the ground. One of them falters for a split second, just long enough. That brief loss of balance is all it takes for fate to be decided. The victor remains standing, breathing hard, head held high, eyes steady and unyielding. This victory goes far beyond the clash itself. It grants the right to breed, to pass strength and resilience on to the next generation. There is no celebration, no outward display of dominance. Only the quiet enforcement of nature's oldest rules, where life moves forward through those able to endure, prevail, and protect what follows them. Before the dust stirred up in lion territory has time to fully settle, the savanna slips back into its steady, timeless rhythm. In the distance, massive shapes emerge, moving with the calm certainty of drifting hills. These are African elephants. These gentle giants dominate the African landscape. The African elephant, Loxodonta africana, is the largest land animal alive today. Fully grown adults can weigh more than 6 tons, and their enormous ears, spread wide like sails, help release excess heat under the relentless sun. Their trunk, long and remarkably dexterous, is an indispensable tool. It allows them to breathe, drink, gather food, communicate, and even express emotion. Unlike buffalo or big cats, elephant society is guided by experience rather than strength. At the heart of each herd stands the matriarch, the oldest and most knowledgeable female. Within her memory lies a living archive of the savanna, an unseen map that reveals where water can be found during drought, which grounds are safest for giving birth, and which areas must be avoided due to dangers rooted in the past. The herd moves forward at an unhurried pace, yet with absolute purpose. The calves remain at the center at all times, encircled by adults who guard them without pause. At the slightest hint of danger, the group closes ranks, instantly forming a living barrier, silent, solid, and formidable. Elephants rarely seek confrontation, but when they are cornered, especially if their young are threatened, their response can be overwhelming. Even lions understand that a united elephant herd is not an opponent worth challenging. beyond their immense size, these animals play a vital role in shaping the ecosystem. By pushing over shrubs and trees, they open the landscape, allowing grasses to flourish. When they dig for water, they unknowingly create lifelines that sustain countless other species during the dry season. Seeds travel with them across the savanna, scattered with every step they take. Wherever elephants roam, the land is changed not suddenly or violently, but gradually, deeply, and forever. In a world defined by constant competition, African elephants remind us that true strength lies not only in the ability to defend oneself, but in the power to support, reshape, and sustain life itself. As those peaceful giants disappear beyond the horizon, the savanna carries on with its timeless rhythm. This is a land where every species, whether predator or grazer, plays a crucial role in keeping nature's machinery alive. Suddenly, the ground begins to shudder. At first, it is a faint vibration, barely noticeable. Within seconds, it builds into a deep, thunderous pulse that spreads across the plains. Far away, faint shapes take form. Then come hundreds, soon thousands of animals moving as one, flowing across the open land like an endless tide. They are wildebeest, heavy-bodied, broad-headed antelopes with curved horns sweeping outward. The blue wildebeest Conochaetes taurinus may look clumsy at first glance, but appearances are deceiving. It is one of the toughest and most enduring species in Africa. Wildebeest live and travel in vast herds driven by instinct alone. An ancient urge compels them forward without rest, always searching for fresh grazing grounds and dependable water. Their great annual migration, repeated year after year across generations, remains one of the most extraordinary wildlife events on the planet. Within the herd, safety is never guaranteed. Newborn calves must stand and run within minutes of entering the world. The weakest individuals are especially vulnerable, often falling victim to lions, hyenas, or crocodiles during dangerous river crossings. Yet it is this very abundance, the sheer size of the herd, that ensures the species endures. While predators focus their attention on a single target, countless others continue moving forward without pause. Wildebeest are more than prey. They are a driving force of the ecosystem itself. By grazing relentlessly, they prevent grasses from growing old and dry, encouraging fresh shoots to emerge. Their droppings return vital nutrients to the soil, sustaining insects, birds, and countless smaller organisms. As the herd advances, it shapes the path for life around it. Zebras trail behind. Lions follow in silence, and scavengers wait patiently for opportunity. Every step taken by this living river strengthens the intricate web of African life. Without wildebeest, the savanna would lose its rhythm. Without migration, the renewal of the grasslands would falter. And when the herd finally fades into the distance, wrapped in a rising cloud of dust, the land falls quiet, waiting for the next great heartbeat. Then the first heavy rain arrives, sudden, powerful, and full of promise. This is the moment Cape buffalo have been waiting for. Within the herd, the change is unmistakable. The females' bodies signal renewal, and the land itself, now green and revived, announces the beginning of the breeding season. Expectant mothers move toward open level ground where long sight lines reduce the risk of surprise attacks. In these exposed spaces, predators have fewer places to hide, and vigilance becomes the herd's greatest ally. With the return of water and fresh grass, a new cycle of life begins, timed precisely to the rhythms of the savanna. There is no chaos, no confusion. The birth unfolds quietly in rhythm with the ancient heartbeat of the savanna. A buffalo calf enters the world. Its legs tremble, its dark coat glistens beneath the light rain. Within minutes, it must struggle to its feet. Here there is no space for weakness. The mother stays close, her massive body forming a living shield. Around her, other females gather instinctively, creating a protective wall of muscle and horns. Every stare is alert, every movement deliberate. Lions, hyenas, and leopards understand that approaching a buffalo herd at this moment carries serious risk. Still, danger is never fully absent. rains bring abundance, but they also draw predators. Calves must learn quickly to keep pace with the herd, to recognize unfamiliar sounds, to adapt from their first days to a life shaped by constant vigilance. Beneath the gray skies of the wet season, the Cape buffalo herd presses on. New lives merge into the endless flow of the savanna. The tracks left in the soft mud are soon washed away by the rain. Yet the mark of the calving season remains. In the African savanna, every rainfall does more than restore green to the land. It opens the door to a new generation. For the Cape buffalo, it is a promise of continuity, shared strength, unity, and resilience in a land that never stops testing them. Do you think the alliance of Cape buffalo is strong enough to deter every predator? Share your thoughts in the comments. Gambia stretches like a narrow, vibrant ribbon through the heart of West Africa, where the river sets the rhythm of life and nature follows its own rules. Here, water, forest, and sky are bound together in a constant struggle to endure. The murky riverbanks hold untold stories of resilience, while dense mangroves and sun-scorched savannas conceal silent threats. Every corner carries danger. Every pause can be fatal. In Gambia, all living beings exist within a fragile balance between survival and disappearance. With each sunrise, a new trial begins. Before the heat takes control of the day, hunger awakens the oldest instincts. This is Gambia, small in size, yet vast in the power of its untamed spirit. Deep within the riverine forests, a presence moves with flawless stealth. It is the leopard Panthera pardus, a master of silence, embodying both elegance and deadly precision. Its golden coat, patterned with dark rosettes, blends seamlessly with shifting light and shadow. From high in the trees, it watches with unwavering focus, studying every movement, weighing every possibility. In this land, the leopard is both feared and admired. It embodies raw strength and the art of survival. Its amber eyes mirror the sunlit savannas by day and the moon-washed forests by night. Within the fragile balance of nature, it rules without ceremony, quiet, methodical, and undeniably dominant. The first light of dawn slips gently through the dense green canopy. The air remains cool, heavy with the scent of damp soil and newly awakened plants. Near the water's edge, concealed beneath thick brush, the leopard opens its eyes. The hollow ache in its stomach is a clear signal the day demands another hunt. Rising with smooth, controlled movements, it glides across grass still wet with dew. Suddenly, a faint trace of warm skin drifts through the air. In a nearby clearing, a bushbuck antelope rests calmly bathed in the morning sun, unaware that danger is already closing in. Step by step, the predator closes in without a sound. Its body lowers to the ground, muscles coiled tight like a spring ready to release. The gap narrows. The leopard's heartbeat falls into rhythm with the stillness around it. Then in a split second, everything changes. It surges forward. A flash of gold cuts through the grass. Almost immediately, calm returns, broken only by the heavy breathing of the hunter standing over its captured prey. A warm breeze moves through the leaves, carrying away the last traces of the sudden struggle. The leopard tightens its grip as the motion beneath it fades. The decisive bite is swift and exact, a reminder of the price paid for survival. In this world, life continues through patience, precision, and the courage to strike at precisely the right moment. The forest remains alert as it always does, poised for the next chase, the next heartbeat, the next story to be written without a sound. Dawn spreads its golden light across the dense canopy of Gambia's forests, setting the leaves aglow as if brushed by a gentle flame. Nearby, leopard cubs with bright eyes and softly spotted coats tumble and play, nipping at one another's tails in harmless games. Without drawing attention, their mother slips into the deeper shadows, beginning her daily hunt. She moves low and silent ears, tuned to every signal, each step measured on soil still cool from the night. Then behind her the calm shatters without warning. Harsh, chaotic cries erupt from within the jungle. A troop of baboons surges forward like a living storm. They are not natural predators of the leopard, but their strength in numbers and collective aggression can be deadly. Without hesitation, one of the cubs bolts for the nearest tree claws, digging into the bark as it scrambles upward in panic. The baboons react instantly, climbing just as fast, their bodies perfectly adapted for pursuit among the branches. In moments, the cub is cornered on the highest, most fragile limb it can reach. Its cries are sharp and fearful, cutting through the morning chorus of the forest like an alarm. Far away, the mother had already begun her hunt, yet something deep within her stirs. A sudden, unsettling sense of danger takes hold. Maternal instinct ignites without warning. The hunt no longer matters. She races back through the trees at full speed, weaving past trunks and roots, closing the distance with every powerful stride. When she arrives, the sight stops her cold for an instant. The baboons have surrounded her cub high in the tree. The cub freezes in place, its fur standing on end, eyes scanning desperately for an escape that does not exist. Below, the mother remains concealed within nearby bushes, tracking every movement of her adversaries. A direct attack would be fatal against so many strong, aggressive rivals. One baboon edges closer, fangs bared and voice raised in a furious display, but stops short of striking. The message is unmistakable, a warning, a claim of dominance over this space. Slowly, the troop becomes aware of the silent presence watching from below. Two golden eyes burn from the shadows. One by one, the baboons retreat from the tree and melt back into the dense green vegetation. The clamor fades until only the familiar rhythm of the forest remains. In an instant, the mother springs toward the trunk, climbing with practiced precision, her claws locking into old grooves in the bark. The cub sees her and begins its careful descent. Step by step, it climbs down to where she waits. Reassured by her presence, the mother leans in, presses her head gently against the cubs, and licks its fur, calming the fear and restoring a fragile sense of safety. The cub presses itself against her chest, drawing comfort from the warmth of her body. The moment ends without further conflict. No blood is spilled, yet deep within the leopard's mind the memory is etched clearly, and it will not fade easily. Morning light now spreads gently across the open plain, washing the forest's edge in soft shades of gold and signaling the rise of the day's heat. In scattered groups, the baboons move through the grass, foraging calmly, plucking wild fruits with nimble, well-practiced fingers. Their calls echo across the open land, playful in tone, yet still carrying the confidence born from yesterday's encounter. Driving the leopard family away has become an unspoken badge of triumph, strengthening their sense of security. But from within the shadows, a pair of golden eyes watches with unwavering focus. The leopard mother has only one thought: today the balance will be answered. Her body is held in controlled tension like a living spring, prepared to unleash immense power without hesitation. Every muscle works in complete silence. She moves forward with precise steps, her belly skimming the ground as she melts into the shifting shadows shaped by the sun. The baboons, unaware of any danger, remain absorbed in their search for food. No heads turn. No sentry stands watch. They sense nothing. The predator is already within striking distance. The leopard lowers her profile even further as she closes in. She glides ahead with almost imperceptible grace. Still, the baboons fail to notice the threat drawing nearer. Her entire body tightens, perfectly poised, conserving energy as she waits for the exact moment to act. Then, in the blink of an eye, stealth gives way to explosive speed. A streak of gold surges across the clearing, powered by muscle instinct and a mother's fierce resolve. Order collapses instantly. Sharp alarm calls pierce the air as the group scatters in every direction. But for one, the escape comes too late. Its cry is cut short as the leopard's strike finds its mark, swift and decisive, ending the chase in a single precise motion. Swift and efficient, the leopard brings the confrontation to an end. The rest of the troop retreats toward the trees, yesterday's confidence collapsing into pure panic. With effortless strength, she lifts the lifeless weight and moves away, her gaze steady, her presence unquestionable. No sound is needed. The message is clear. She has returned and the balance has been answered. She crosses the open grassland without slowing, leaving behind the silent trace of her success. At the edge of her territory, two small shapes emerge from the cover of vegetation. Her cubs approach carefully, noses lifted, testing the air. The familiar scent triggers an instant recognition. They understand at once this is the threat that filled them with fear only a day before. For the mother, this was never just a hunt. It was a reckoning written in instinct and resolve. She knows other trials will come, but for now, order has been restored. As stillness settles once more over the plain, one truth remains unspoken yet unmistakable. The leopard's family is not to be challenged. She closes her eyes, not in weakness, but in the quiet certainty of a predator that has fulfilled its role. Dawn washes the wet land in soft shades of pale gold. A thin veil of mist rises from the still water, drifting upward like a quiet, held breath. The baboons stir early, alert and watchful. From the shelter of the forest, they emerge in loose clusters and move with purpose toward the shoreline. This morning, their focus is on tender shoots and fresh leaves growing among the aquatic plants at the water's edge. The troop spreads out along the muddy banks. Some wade into the shallow water, skillfully plucking green leaves with practiced hands. Others settle on dry patches of ground, chewing eagerly, their lips stained with fresh vegetation. The scene is calm, shaped by the soft sounds of feeding, gentle splashes, and the muted calls of the young. Then, without warning, a deep growl cuts through the stillness like a sudden clap of thunder. Two dominant males square off. Their bodies stiffen for bristling as ancient instincts take over. They charge at one another with explosive force, colliding in a clash of muscle and will. Teeth flash, limbs strike, and harsh cries fill the marsh, echoing through the distant trees like the sounds of battle. The group freezes. Some voices rise, urging the fight on, while others pull back to avoid stray blows. Each collision lands with raw force, water splashing beneath tangled limbs. Growls blend with the sound of churning mud, forming a chaotic, relentless rhythm. Neither contender yields. Both believe that backing down would cost more than any wound. Then, without warning, the water behind them shifts and swells into a dark, rising shape. A Nile crocodile, massive and ancient, bursts from the surface, its yellow eyes catching the first light of dawn. The predator needs no invitation. Its presence alone commands instant fear. In a heartbeat, the rivals break apart, pride abandoned in favor of survival. The confrontation ends without a victor, not through defeat, but through understanding. In this world, survival is not decided by strength alone, but by knowing precisely when to retreat. On the African savanna, every confrontation eventually ends, yet the struggle to exist never truly does. Here, each breath and every step marks the fragile line between survival and vanishing forever. Real strength is not always revealed through fangs or speed, but through endurance, the ability to stand firm and withstand the relentless pressure of the wild. Among the many players on this untamed stage, the Cape buffalo stands as a symbol of unity. It is more than an individual body. It is a shared will. When facing the savanna's most feared predators, their solidarity and resilience transform them into one of the land's most formidable coalitions. A living wall proving that survival is not always about striking first, but about standing together. And so each day in Africa draws to a close without absolute victors, only survivors. The Savanna repeats its oldest lesson in a world where anything can fail. True strength lies in remaining on your feet for one moment longer.